Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to Daddy-Daughter Discussions, where me and my daughter Patrice get together and talk about stuff that fathers and daughters want to talk about, and we just be kicking it. How you doing, Trace?
I'm doing good. How you
I'm doing good. I'm eating Doritos now and a ham sandwich. Yeah, that's how casual we keep it. Just real casual. Everybody just eating. So, how's everything going in Louisville?
doing? Everything's going good.
Really? Hmm. I don't know why I can't hear your audio so much. You might have to speak up a little bit so the audience can kind of hear you and everything. But I'll turn you up too so they can hear you. Yeah. So okay. So you and I were talking about hair, and and I'm always curious to know what other people think about hair because, as you know, I don't have much hair. But I noticed you have hair and you like hair. You do hair. And somebody was asking me when I was asking people what suggested topics we could talk about in our conversation, and they were saying that we should address hair weaves, like weaves and makeup and stuff like that, and how to perceive that with young women. It seems like there's some people who maybe feel like the need for weaves or the need for a lot of makeup or something like that could be compensating for something, but then there are those who just think it's not a big deal. Do you think, like, first of all, I guess I want to start with asking, why do you think women might wear makeup or weave or anything like that?
I think that some are trying to compensate for other areas, but I mean, then you have people like me who, on the days that I don't work, I don't wear makeup, I don't wear weaves, but on the days that I do work, I wear makeup and I wear weaves. I'll go to Walmart without makeup on. And I think that it's just personal preference. I've never felt like I needed makeup or I needed my hair done. But being that I'm in the field that I'm in, it's only right that my hair and makeup is always on point because it's my livelihood, it's my income.
Mm.
So, but I do think that some people are trying to compensate for other areas, but I think it's just an individual circumstance. It depends on the person.
Mm. What do you think about those people that, I saw this story the other day about Detroit and how they have companies now that give women loans so they can go buy like more expensive weaves and wigs and stuff like that. What do you think about that?
I think that's ridiculous. To me, if you can't afford it, then you don't need to buy it.
Mm.
I think that when the thing about hair and makeup is that some people get so drawn into it that it's almost like gambling or playing poker. When you get so drawn into it, you begin to spend your rent money, your bill money, just in hopes of gaining something back for nothing, pretty much. And so I think that when it gets to the point where you're buying $300-400, and some people buy thousands of dollars worth of hair just for one head. And I think when it gets to that point, that's when you need to draw the line and say, okay, is it really worth it? Because there's so many cheaper products that you could purchase that won't put you in debt and have you file bankruptcy.
Mm. So, do you think that there's a difference in terms of why a woman might wear a weave or a wig versus why she might wear makeup, or do you think that she might wear them both for the same reasons, just to really look her best and stuff like that?
I think it might just be for the same reasons. Both may be for the same reasons.
Mm.
Um, and I think that when you say look her best, I think you have to think about what you're saying is who is she looking her best for. Now, there are some women who want to put on hair and makeup to catch the attention of men, and then there are people like. Well, I will say people like me. I put on hair and makeup just to make me feel good or make me feel pretty, but I also feel very pretty without the hair and the makeup as well. So as I said, I think it just kind of it's an individual thing, and it depends on the person. Some women do it for attention, others just do it because what the hell? I know how to do hair, I know how to do makeup, so I feel like doing my hair and makeup today.
Okay. One of the things I always wonder about is, when you meet a man and let's say you have hair that's not your hair and you're wearing a lot of makeup and he gets used to seeing you with the makeup. How do you transition from him seeing you every day with the makeup to him getting used to seeing you without the makeup? I mean, do you think is that like ever a concern for women, like wondering like what'll happen if because if the man's always used to seeing you looking perfect and then you're not, one day you're not looking perfect, Like, is that ever like a concern that he might, be shocked or disappointed or something like that?
Not for me. Um, I guess for me, because I think I think I'm pretty consistent in going either way. And I have pictures on Facebook with no weave in. I have pictures on Facebook with no makeup on. So I just kind of feel like if you are shocked, then or if you feel like you can't handle it, then you don't need to be in my circle. You don't need to be in my space, because this is what I choose to look like sometimes, and this is what I choose to look like at others. And I mean, I think it kind of goes. I think it kind of coincides with men talking about how much money they have.
Mm.
What if you find out that it's really not all it's cracked up to be, or he may make this much money, but he has so many bills that you don't get to spend any of it? You know what I mean? Like, so I think it just kind of goes either way. It depends on the person, and that the same thing goes for men or men with sons. You need to tell your sons, she can't handle the fact that you don't make as much money as she wants you to make, then she doesn't need to be in your circle.
Mm. I think that of course I never wore a weave. And I don't. I have worn makeup a couple times because like on TV and stuff, they might put it on you. I actually kind of like like they put the makeup on. I'm like, okay, I'm looking pretty good today. And so whenever I get done, they're always like, do you want to wash the makeup off? I'm like, nah, just leave it on. I'm gonna look good all day long. But outside of that, I never put it on myself. But I think that the closest thing I can think of that makes me maybe wonder about the reason I asked that question about just people having certain expectations because they see you one way and then them not being able to adjust to seeing you another way is because I think sometimes that's kind of what you might go through, like if you're a man, but not with weave and makeup, but like if for example, if when I was dating, and if I met a woman who already knew me, and she's like, "You're Dr. Boyce Watkins. Oh my God, this is so great. I'm meeting Dr. Boyce Watkins, right?" And so so people would think, well, that's really cool. And I would tell guys like, no, you really wouldn't want to date a woman. You wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't say you wouldn't, but you have to be very cautious about dating a woman like that because if she knows you because she thinks you're famous, then what happens is when she sees you a lot and just gets used to you and realizes you're just a regular person, she may get bored. She may not be interested in you anymore because she's excited about the image. I almost call it I would even call it like the Beyonce effect. Like I think a lot of men would look at Beyonce and fantasize and be like, oh my gosh, she's so hot. If I had Beyonce, that would be so amazing. But if they really dated her and they saw Beyonce like without her makeup on, without her weave, when she was on her period, when Beyonce farted, those guys might be like, oh God, ugh, like this is not what I thought I was signing up for, So that's what I always wonder about is that balance between the two, because you have some people that see the external version of you and that's the version they want. So when they don't, when they see the other side, it's like it kind of changes. So you don't think? So would you say that like when you see, women that maybe dress certain ways to get attention or really go out of their way, like on Facebook, sometimes I'll see women dressing in ways that really look like they're really trying to catch a man's attention. Like, what do you think about when you see that?
I think that women who work so hard to catch a man's attention obviously don't have a man in their life who gives them enough attention. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a partner, but I mean a dad or a brother, a good uncle, or a man to look up to. And in the black community, it's unfortunate, but we don't have a lot of those.
Mm.
And I don't think that it's all the fault of just all African American men, but I mean the prison system, the way that the media portrays the thugs and the niggas, the way that they are portrayed, I think that sometimes it's hard for black women and they feel like there aren't any good men out there, so they're going to do whatever they can. They get to a point where they say, okay, my dating scale isn't that large. I don't want to date a white man. I don't want to date a Chinese man. I don't want to date this type of man. I don't want to date that type of man. I want a black man, so I feel like this is the only way that I can get one. Because now it's starting to narrow down and there are so many women to a small percentage of men. So I think that now they're just trying to do whatever they can to get a man's attention. And fortunately, I've been blessed to the point that I don't have to do that. And I mean, even when you were living in New York, I still had my grandfather. You know what I mean? So I still had someone. I still had my brother, and my brother, he's a great father to his daughter. And I still had my mom, even though a woman can't teach a woman can't teach a girl how a man is supposed to treat them. Only a man can teach her that. Um, I was able to have those influences in my life to the point where I didn't have to feel like I should pose naked or I should pose in a bikini or a thong or whatever. But unfortunately, a lot of women feel. I'm not going to say they have to, but a lot of women feel like they have to do that in order to gain the love and the respect that they're looking for. But then they act shocked when they don't get that, and it's because you're online on the internet just a click away from disrespecting yourself. So why would I give you that?
Yeah, it seems to me that when I see that, if you're looking for love and respect, I don't know if that's definitely not the way to get love and respect. It is definitely the way to get a certain kind of attention. It's usually lustful attention, like it's to get sex. That's what people see. It's just like if I show people that I have a whole bunch of money, they're gonna be looking at me as somebody who can give them money. So that's it. I'm not gonna be able to really buy no friends or buy respect or buy love. All I'm doing is buying a temporary attention so people can get what I'm advertising, right? Just like you advertise, you do a KFC commercial, people gonna want chicken. So when women are get tempted to advertise breasts and wings and thighs and all that stuff, then the men gonna get hungry and they're gonna want to show up to eat, and then they're gonna do what they do at KFC, which is eat and leave. And I think that it's kind of unfortunate because I think it's I don't judge it if that's what you want. Like if you know that that's what you're trying to get, by dressing a certain way or whatever, and that's what you want, that's fine. I'm not gonna judge that. But if you are if you're trying to get something more valuable than that, that's definitely not the way to go. And sometimes I see stuff on Facebook where I'll be like, man, like I might go through, see somebody in my news feed and say, okay, I know she ain't got a father anywhere in her life because, she should not be dressing like that. She shouldn't be doing that type of stuff on Facebook. Like that's too much to be showing people that you don't even know. But again, it's everybody's right to do whatever they want. And so I say, if you're getting what you want, then I'm happy for you. But if you're not, I feel kind of bad. But then again, though, as you mentioned, there is that kind of shortage of men. There was this thing on. I want to ask you about this. There was this thing, this video. Did you see the thing? It was on the show, the Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore, where they had a panel of black women on there, and they were talking about how hard it is to get a black man or to find a good black man. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, it was good. I'm gonna send you the link. But they had some women on there. Actually, I know a couple of them, and one of them said that finding a good black man is harder than finding $100 bill on the sidewalk in the middle of New York City or something like that. And I was like, I was really insulted when she said that because I don't think that's true. Number one, but then number two, I think that if you are as pretty as she is, her name was Jackie Reed, and Jackie Reed when she was younger was one of the prettiest women on TV. So if you're that pretty and you're in New York, you're meeting all these men that are buying you flowers, taking you out to dinner, begging for your affection, and you can't find a quality man in all those men that you've met over the years, I think that's a problem. Like there's something you might not be looking internally, or you might be looking in all the wrong places. What do you think?
I think that when you get to that point, it can be an internal issue. Because I see a lot of black women who will date a black guy, and he's very sweet and he opens doors. And I've actually dated a few, and I really enjoyed them. And for different reasons, we didn't work out or whatever. But I met some women who say he's too nice, and I'm just like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, how can you be too nice? And I think that a lot of women, they have this, a lot of black women, not all, and I'm not gonna say all, but I want to make sure that I let people know that I'm not talking about all black women. But I think that a lot of black women have this persona of wanting a roughneck or a thug or somebody who's educated but he's a little bit hood, or he's black and he's fine and he don't have no kids. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, okay, you basically want a brand new Lamborghini. Sometimes you're gonna have to settle for something that's a little bit that's not perfect. And I think that when you really love someone or you really care for someone, you'll accept them for their flaws and you'll accept them for the things that may come off a little bit different. And I think that some black women have gotten to the point where they seek perfection, and they don't understand that not everybody's perfect. And I mean, I've met some women who will have a boyfriend for 6 years or whatever, and I mean the relationship is perfect, it's great. He takes care of her, he makes sure that she has everything that she needs. He's just a great guy, and he'll cheat once, and then after that the relationship's done. And I've gotten and I know somebody's gonna have something to say, but I've gotten to the point to realize that people make mistakes. People make mistakes. People mess up. People may do things that you might not agree with, and I think that that's when the forgiving process comes in, and you understand that people aren't perfect. And I think that that's why a lot of black men can't find, or I'm sorry, a lot of black women can't find a good black man, because if he makes one mistake, he's out. And it's just like, okay, well, you do realize that he's not Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't realize that, then you're dating the wrong person. But some women just want something that is a little bit unrealistic, and not just in cheating, but if a man loses his job, they'll leave him. If a man, I don't know, if he calls her the B word one time, he'll leave. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, okay, you haven't been an angel, so why should he be?
I think that's a good kind of way to look at it. A couple thoughts come to mind when you say that. Number one, I almost think that really people should challenge themselves with what I would call, I just made it up today, so if I say it wrong, just chalk it up to the fact that I'm just stupid sometimes. But I would almost call it the 3-to-1 ratio. If you talk about any of your exes and any ex relationships, for every 3 bad things you can say about them, you need to be able to say 1 bad thing about yourself. For every 3 things you can say about them that makes them a bad partner, you need to be able to say 1 thing about yourself that makes you a bad partner. Because you ever hear people talk about, Patrice, you ever listen when people talk about their exes or their previous relationships? It's always like, she did this, she did that, she did that, she did that, but you were an angel the whole time. You ain't got no flaws. You did everything right. They can listen to how people tell a story. They'll be like, well, all I was asking was, why the blah, 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 blah. And then, I mean, why wouldn't somebody do blah, 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 blah. And then he going to come on in here and say, da, 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 da. Can you believe? And then that his mama, blah, blah, blah. And all I was doing was, I was just sitting there. Like, they always play it off like, I wasn't doing nothing. Everything I did was perfect. I'm a wonderful person. But the whole world was messed up. Like, every single thing they did, like, they can name 30 things that the other person had that was wrong with them, but can't think of one single thing that they did wrong. I think that's kind of screwed up. So I would say that if you really try to be fair with yourself, which this still really ain't totally fair, but it's a little bit better. It's progress. Is do it 3-to-1. Like, for every 3 things you say about them that they did wrong that made them a bad partner, find 1 thing about yourself. And if you can't find it, that means you're not looking in the mirror long enough. If you look in the mirror long enough, you're going to eventually find a couple things that you can work on. It doesn't make you a bad person, but it might mean mistakes that you made, things you did wrong. Maybe you ignored your partner or whatever. Because another funny thing is that I laugh about is that the way we frame, you talk about cheating. The way we frame cheating in our society, it differs from men to women. When people talk about men cheating, it's just like, oh, he's a dog. Oh, he can't keep stuff in his pants. Oh, he ain't got no discipline. Oh, he's a bad person. But a lot of times when women cheat, there's always room for somebody to explain, well, he was abusing her, or he was mistreating her, or he was ignoring her, or he didn't, he wasn't giving her attention. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times people have a bigger window for when women step out than when men step out. And at least that's what I've kind of observed. But I just think overall, I think that you're right. I think that I think you're either, one thing I noticed is that when you're shopping for a partner, it's like, you can almost compare it to like shopping for a car. Now, if you go look for a car, you could just say, I want to get the dopest car I can find, the shiniest, the flyest, the nicest. I don't even want to look at the price tag. I don't want to look at the engine. I don't care about none of that. I don't even care if it got enough seats in it. It could be a 2-seater and I got 4 kids. It don't matter. I'm gonna get the nicest car I can get, right? And so you do that, right? You pick out that sports car because it's the nicest, prettiest car in the lot. But then you take it home, you find out that that price tag is real high on that car that you got when you passed up all those Corollas and all the other cars you could have got, that GMC truck and all that stuff. You passed all that up. The Explorer, you passed that up to get the Bentley or to get whatever it is you get. So number one, the price tag might be high. Number two, the engine might not work. Number three, the car might not help you achieve your goal. Your goal might be just to get back and forth to work every day. So maybe you don't need a Bentley to drive back and forth to work every day. Maybe you just need a car that works. And people will do that. They will, when they're picking out who they want to be with. I think pretty girls and guys too. Now I'm not talking about women. We're talking about women because you're a woman. But pretty girls, I think, might even have the problem worse than women who have fewer options. Because when a girl has a lot of options, she's getting approached by, sometimes, it depends, but she might be getting approached by a lot of different guys, right? Because guys do that. A lot of guys will holler, and some guys ain't even serious. Some guys are in relationships. Some guys might be married. Some guys ain't got their only intention is to hang out with you for about 2 weeks, and that's it. And if you're just picking the best, guy that you see, like the one with the biggest muscles, or the one who's the tallest, or the one who got the most money, or the one who got the most swag, like if you're picking the best one, and you might miss out on the one who's the best one for you, the one who's going to be best able to help you achieve your goal. If your goal is, if your goal is like, I want to sleep with somebody who's, got the biggest muscles or who looks the best, then cool, that's easy to do. That's an easy pick. But if your goal is to pick somebody who's going to be consistent with you, love you, show you affection, be good, somebody you can bring home to your family, who's really going to have your back no matter what, that's a process. It takes like weeks to figure that out about a person. You can't figure that out by looking at them 2 or 3 times or going on a couple of days.
Sometimes it can take years.
Exactly. It takes a long time. And that's what I just noticed is like sometimes people don't really look on the internal. They focus on the external. So sometimes and this is where I go back to Jackie Reed. Sometimes that real pretty lady, like Jackie Reed was so gorgeous. She's still pretty now, but when she was young, she was one of the hottest women on TV. And sometimes, that she might have what I call like the Halle Berry problem. She might pass over a lot of really great guys because she's picking the absolute best guy she could get. She's like, oh my God, girl, he's a billionaire. Like, that doctor was nice, and that plumber was cool, and that police officer was all right, but this dude's got $1 billion. They don't know. He could be a billionaire with STDs out the ass. He could be a billionaire who will cheat on you within 10 minutes. He could be a billionaire that beats you or kills you and dumps your dead body in the trunk. You don't know none of that. All you know is he got money, and people do that. And I think that's kind of crazy to me. What do you think?
Well, I definitely think that now, living in the land of social media, it's a lot. It's very easy to fall into the cracks of doing something like that. Because on social media, people show their best. People give their best. It's an advertisement. And when you give an advertisement, you don't tell people about the clause. You know what I'm saying? You might have it in the little bitty fine white print at the bottom, but you definitely don't.
I'm advertising myself. Did I give you my good side? Keep talking. I'm listening.
Chill. You're stupid.
Oh, keep going.
Okay. But a lot of people, they give their best on social media. And so I think that when that's what you see, then that's what you expect. And I mean, I think that goes for men and women. And, when you said, about the billionaire thing, I think that women who have options, just like men who have options, they don't always pick from their heart. They don't always pick from their soul. They pick from their eyes or from their ears. Women like to hear certain things. Men like to see certain things. So if you can't give them that, then they'll go to the next because they know that there's someone else in line.
That's a good point. Well, I guess, I think that there's always a balance between what you want and what you need, and that's it. Like I don't think men will ever stop liking pretty girls, and I tell young guys, like, it's okay to like pretty girls, just make sure you don't pick the crazy pretty girls. Make sure you pick the pretty girl who is also a nice person. So she might be the 4th prettiest girl that you know, but she might be the best person that you know. And so then you got a little bit of both. You got something to look at, and you got a good person by your side. The guys get in trouble are the ones who just pick the finest girl they see and don't think about anything else except for the fact that she's fine. And then they end up all mad because they done got a divorce and she took the kids and took the money, took the dog, and all this other stuff. So I think the same thing would be true for women. Is you got to pick on different criteria. Some men are built for good, long-lasting relationships. Some men are not, and that's just it. And sometimes having too many options can really be a bad thing, because a lot of the options that you get, you think that it's like a permanent job. It's almost like looking for a job. Some jobs might look like they're permanent jobs, but really they're temporary jobs. So if you compare permanent jobs with temporary jobs based on salary, you're going to end up missing, because the temporary jobs might pay you more, but it's for a shorter period of time. So certain men might offer you more. They might give you everything you want in terms of what you want to look at, what you want to hear, all the swag you want, all the money. But that guy might only be planning on being around for 3 weeks. He might already be occupied. If you think he's amazing, there's a good chance that there's a lot of other women who think he's amazing. And I see that with like guys who I know who are like famous. Like they go every city they go to, they meet like 10 girls that like want to marry them. And I'm like, how do you? I was talking with my friends who was like that. He's way more famous than I'll ever be. But I was like, how do you deal with that? Like every city you go to, women have been fantasizing about you your whole life. Like that's got to be weird, And and I mean, I can talk about exactly what we talked about, but it was kind of sad because I feel like he kind of took advantage of that. Like he's like, well, I'll just feed them the dream, and then when they finally figure it out, they realize that I'm only in love with one woman. But I think that's kind of a hard way to figure it out. A lot of times just taking your time is a good way to pick somebody who's right for you. So anyway, I'm done. I'll let you get the last word before we get out of here. No last word?
I think we pretty much touched base on everything. I mean, for the girls out there, if you like makeup and you like hair and you like, buying nice clothes and this and that, then do that. But let people know, this is who I am. And this is who I'm going to be. Like, show who you are. Because when you try to pretend to be someone else, that's when the relationship doesn't work that well. So I think if you just show people who you are from the beginning, then, if they can't accept it, let them out of your circle. If they can, then let them stay in. And, just for those dads out there, always remind your daughter that she's beautiful no matter what. So if she feels pressure to do, the hair and the makeup stuff, make her understand that you created her. Her mom created her, and two beautiful people got together and made a beautiful baby.
That's right. Two beautiful people got together and made beautiful Patrice. Naturally Trees.
Even though people keep commenting that I'm ugly, it's all good.
No, you are not. You are far from ugly. Far from ugly. Because me and your mama didn't date scrubs when we had you. So that's just a fact. All right. Well, it's good to see you, sweetie, and I hope you have a good night.
Okay, good to see you too. And really quick, if you are interested in some hair tips, please go to my YouTube channel, which is Naturally Trees, NaturallyTriece. And just look at those tips. I actually just did a wig tutorial. So if you're interested, please go view that and comment, like, subscribe, share. Tell me what I can do next. If you don't feel like there's anything that I need to do, then perfect. But if you do feel like there's some things that I can add and some flavor that I can add to my channel, everything is taken into consideration. People with the negative comments, please keep them to yourselves. My mom always taught me, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, then don't say nothing.
That's right. And that's only going to make them say more now.
Exactly.
Haters always want to be heard. So, I just don't read it. You hating too much, man. I got you.
It does nothing for you. It doesn't.
That's right. I agree. Well, it's very good to see you again, and I hope you have a good night. And everybody, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and this is my daughter Patrice. She blogs under the name Naturally Treece. You can see some of her stuff at naturallymoire.com. And also that wig video that she described actually has been shared like crazy on Facebook. So I think that
it's got like 100 shares. So.
100 shares in one day. So people seem to like it. So you might want to check it out. She knows what she's talking about. Well, until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.